All right, what's going on, everybody? Let's review today's long. I was able to long off of low a day. I got the clip showing here. This is a post-trade overview. But we can see here, like I said, we went long right there at low of day. And I'll tell you why. This is not something I typically do, but I have found success in the last couple of weeks because, why? Trading the MNQ, that and the NASDAQ and all the things correlated to it have been in an uptrend, right? The market's been in an uptrend. So anytime that there's an intraday pullback or even an overnight pullback, I'm looking for the most likely area to confirm itself as a lower high. And I'm gonna try and trade with trend when they already did the work for me. They did the pullback for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back long and assume that we're gonna get strength back to the upside and potentially go for any intraday highs or higher time frame areas that are in play, right? So right up there where you see, it's not in the frame, but the high of day that was set on today's chart was a sweep of last week's high. And we know last week was a range formation. So I see that as an area that could have been a great magnet for longs. I mean, it was the clearest target besides the previous high. So I took my shot at it, and I really was adamant about letting this one work under specific circumstances, right? So we can see, because here's the thing, you can see that I was in on the initial push. Well, you can't see that, this is what I'm telling you, because Top Step just does a straight line. But anyways, I was in on the initial push. We see that it did pull all the way back and is now starting to curl back up. And so at this point, I'm pretty confident and I'm letting it work. So yeah, so the overall thesis here, like I said, was that we're in an uptrend. And I have been very intentional about catching with trend trades and then letting any counter trend movement play itself out. So look at the preceding price action. Look how choppy that downtrend is. Those 3 bars towards the top left of the chart, I was in that short and I did get out before momentum ended. So that was good on me as well. We can review that at the end as well. But that was off the same that was kind of a derivative play off the same thesis, where we had swept last week's high and it looked like we were just doing a quick reversal. So I don't usually do this, but I did take a stab at that and it worked out very quickly and very well. But I did not overstay my welcome and I got out before all that chop you see. But I took all that chop as a sign that we were now starting to manipulate to a certain area. So where I got in specifically was after we had gotten as close as we were going to get to the pre-market low, while SPY had simultaneously already taken out its pre-market low and began to reverse. So right there, I was just checking my 150K account. This is my 50K account that we're watching, just because it's a little bit easier to the eye. And so we can see here that we are approaching the high of this trade for this second push. And it looks like we're gonna just keep going, right? Now, I'm still looking over to the left here and I'm saying, man, it's probably gonna be pretty tough to take out all of that chop, because it's not like there isn't orders there. We can't just disrespect, a previous accumulation area. So my general philosophy is try to not trade into consolidation, like previous consolidation. And if we do, make sure that it moves quickly. And if it doesn't, take it as a sign to get out. So let's just keep observing here. We're pushing strong. I would say steady. Good strength. It's not like it's flying or anything, but overall, I'm very confident in this trade now. And I just got my my hands behind my head. I'm kick feet back, the whole deal. You know, you can see that I'm risking 18 points, and at this point I'm up about 30. So almost 1-to-1 R, just checking in over there to see my 150K. It's chugging along pretty good. We started to get a little wick. And if you're looking at the time and sales on the right, which is something I use a lot, I'm looking at how we're getting consistent 75, 75, 74. We're not pushing to the high 70s, but we're really starting to hang around these mid to low 70s, which tells me they're not interested in, at the moment, in pushing this over 480. Look at that. Now we're starting to fail 70, getting back down to the 60s. That candle's now flipped to red. I'm starting to get the idea that the accumulation is starting to get in the way, right? That 480 is starting to get in the way. You're starting to see why I have that philosophy of, if we're going to trade into a range, into consolidation, let's get through it quickly. Because if not, we're going to get sucked into there and the price is going to start to react to those areas in an unfavorable way. And you can see that now the new bar has taken out the low of that now hammer. And you can see I move my cursor to the center of the screen there, and I'm getting ready to possibly exit. Yeah, see, I'm starting to, you can see my cursor, it's starting to get real close. You can see I literally physically put myself in position to make these executions. And I'm just starting to read how, I'm starting to read these top wicks. No bueno, it's starting to gain momentum. I'm good here. Yeah, I just take the trade off on both accounts. I even give it a little second here on the trader bait. I gave it a little second, try to see if maybe I jumped the gun there, see a little quick flip green, but ultimately I do exit the position, and I'm very happy with that. Now, you're asking, okay, but you said you were gonna let it work earlier, so why are you getting out now? Right? Like, for all we know, so for all we know, that could have been a lower high, that could have been a higher low that would have continued and the trade could have kept working. And, well, while that is true, that could have happened, the rejection was just too much after already pulling back a large chunk of the move. So at that point, the trend was actually, the two legs up were very close to each other in terms of like parallelness. What I mean by that is you want them to be as on top of each other as possible, the legs that you're trading up or down. So when they're spread out like that, that's telling you what? It's weak. There's a momentum, or there's still bears present. Those kinds of things. So I decided that the bears are just a little bit too present for me, and it was a great time to get out. And it ended up being the case. The trade, that was pretty much all that was to get gone from the trade. We ended up just consolidating and going lower after that. So not much there to it. My thesis did not play out, and that is that. On top of that, I had already won big in the morning, so I didn't really need to stick around if I knew that my probabilities were low. So I just took a little cherry on top profits and I went on my merry way.